Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is the Nerdy,
The Wordy,
the Book Club.
Ooh,
Take
what's up,
2.
Internet?
We're
Love that
back.
voice.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Welcome in.
Great, we made it. You made it. It's
Live from Los Angeles, it's the Nerdy Wordy Book Club.
fine. No, we were supposed to be, and we're actually in Toronto.
Do you want to talk about why we're in Toronto instead of Los Angeles, baby?
Do I? Well, we'd never flown with Porter Airlines before.
Yeah.
And we had no
Probably won't ever again.
Probably won't ever again. We had no idea that there is a hard 90-minute cutoff for check-in.
Mm-hmm. That we missed by
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
Like, we were there 87 minutes before.
Like,
and
yeah.
the funny part is we were just chilling. We went over to the, computer. We're like, oh, it's not working over here. So we'll go, talk to the lady.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, no, you can't get on this flight anymore. And we were like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, you're late by 3 minutes. And we were like,
and we're
what?
looking over at security. We're like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, the bags won't get to your flight in time. And I'm like, what? I mean, really?
So, yeah, that happened. And she was like, yeah, we let you know. And I was like, okay, but where, though? Because I booked through Expedia, and Expedia doesn't tell you that.
Yeah.
And so we just didn't
Because
know.
it's a long weekend, we were looking at flights for later in the day, and it was like, well, it was going to cost us at least $1,200 a person to get to Los Angeles on Wednesday.
Canada Day and July 4th.
Yeah.
4th of July, that's the one.
And so we, it's a $2,000 mistake, but we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're okay.
It's fine.
We're definitely happy and healthy.
Yeah, good for you. You look happy and healthy, not me. Yeah, so that was
It's
fun.
cheaper to drive. Yeah, it's only a 36-hour drive, Blue.
Yeah, right.
No big deal.
I've just
Actually, it might be longer than that.
Probably is. I just never didn't know that this was a thing, and maybe other people know. Maybe chat knew that, but I didn't.
37 hours. Oh, I was almost right on the fucking money.
Well done.
Fucking.
Yeah.
We could do that in 3 days.
Yeah, we could. We'll probably will when we move.
Well, but we could have gotten there by Saturday. Yeah.
Same time. If we had started driving.
Do book club on the road.
Oh God.
This is a podcast about a book, though. We're talking Way of Kings. This is split 4.
Mm-hmm.
We are over halfway through the book now, which I cannot believe. We're going to be talking about that. Definitely excited to get in today's book club because we are enjoying the reading mostly, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Yeah.
I'm having a grand old time.
We are going to get a divorce at the end of the show after we talk about morality for 3.5 hours. But other than that,
that's why
really
you guys
enjoying
are
the book.
here.
Really enjoying the book.
This is not a book club. This is actually a reality TV show.
Yeah. This is How Long Can Nerdy and Clarus Survive, talking about books on the internet. But this podcast is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com. Misty Mountain Gaming. If you want to roll a natural one on your divorce, go to MistyMountainGaming.com and buy dice. Dice towers.
Wouldn't it be a natural...
Dice vaults. And other accoutrements.
Yeah. Do it, because we have to pay for our flights. So get
and our
yourself...
divorce.
Yeah.
2 very expensive
Very
things.
expensive. So go buy some math rocks, because we get a small cut of it, and it's great. And you get math rocks and dice towers and leather baggage. So do that now using the code nerdynightly15.
Oh, thanks, Arzu. Yeah, we took a photo of that.
Oh, yes. Thank
but
you,
yeah, no,
Arzu.
nerdynightly15 for 15% off your order at MistyMountainGaming.com. When you're getting divorced, roll MistyMountainGaming.com dice. And all other times.
Yeah.
But,
What would you roll for in a divorce? Who gets what?
Ooh, that would be a fun way to do a divorce.
I don't know about fun.
Yeah, you turn it into rollies. Who gets the house? Rollies.
That sounds awful.
I don't know. I think that's actually kind of great.
I don't know about that.
And you could rate, so you list out everything that you own, right?
Every
and then
single
you
item.
Rate it by how much you want it. And you have a limited number of 10s, a limited number of 9s, and then that becomes your modifier, but you don't tell each other beforehand what you put your modifiers on. So you're playing rollies, but on the house, you probably both put a 10, but for
God.
the car, maybe there's a 2-car garage. What if like one of you really likes one car and one of you really likes the other? So you put like a 9 on the car you really like and like a 3 on the car you don't love.
Or you communicate. That is also
in
a
my
possibility.
experience. And granted, I have never been divorced, but God, have I experienced it. People tend to not communicate as much while they're getting divorced.
I think they get divorced because they don't communicate much.
Yeah, that might be part of it.
Linus, thank you so much for that super chat.
Linus Tech Tips is here?
Linus Tech Tips. I say audiobooks.
Stormlight Archive.
Stormlight Archive.
The series
audiobooks.
we're currently reading.
I don't care.
Not sexual assault.
I wasn't thinking that either.
That's usually what essay means when people put it on the internet.
Our 48 hours long, just saying, for a drive to LA. Yeah, that's, that's fair.
Johnny Coleman, we do have that super chat saved. Thank you, Linus. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. I've got it right here, actually.
What did Johnny Coleman say?
Johnny Coleman said, hey, can't catch the live stream, but wanted to say this. Yasna and the Muggers participated in a consensual duel to the death. Not cool of Yasna to continue after the last two withdrew consent.
One way to look at it.
It is one way to look at it.
I am
That is correct.
surprised at how much people on the Discord disagree with my take from the audiobook reaction.
I think people are surprised at your take. Because you're all like, yeah, murder slavers and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that
I'm really consistent on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised at the level of I'm just surprised at it. I think it's very interesting. I like this divorce dice idea. Jim Fern says, liquidate everything and one person rolls a D100 and keeps that percentage.
Wow. Oh, I rolled a 100. Oh, no.
LGH, thank you for that super chat contribution to the $2,000 mistake fund. Guys, you don't need to fund our mistakes.
Thanks.
Those are ours to own.
Yeah. We don't need... Yeah.
Speaking of funding, I did just throwing this out there, y'all. If you're enjoying the One Piece stuff and you want it earlier, if you're a patron, don't do this. I will be not uploading these Patreon. There will be links on Patreon for these videos. But if you don't want to be a full patron and you do want early One Piece and you do want to support Brandon, our editor, getting paid to edit One Piece videos, which is where all of this money's going to go, there is a $3 tier on my Nerdy Daily channel now, where you get One Piece videos at least a week early. All of Skypiea, if you want to finish the Skypiea arc, that is all live for members on that new tier now. Those videos will be available to patrons today. I'm not trying to double dip. If you want to be a patron, you don't need to also be a One Piece member on the Nerdy Daily channel. Just, making a lot of One Piece videos, and they don't exactly make money, but Brandon, I do like paying Brandon.
Yeah,
so.
we like to pay our editor, so.
So yeah, there is, if you want to finish Skypiea for the mere $3, you get 3 episodes.
It's $3.
That's $1 an episode. That's actually 50 cents per episode of One Piece.
It's one of those crazy things where, $3 is like a third of a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Like, that's nothing.
Fuck. That new Summer Skies drink at Starbucks is $7.30 or whatever.
Yeah, we went to
Canadian.
Starbucks the other day. We were in a pinch and we needed food. And we got drinks and it was just 2 drinks. It was $17. We were like, we're never doing that ever again.
Yeah, it was $17 for 2 drinks.
Never doing that ever again. This is absolute.
I don't mind.
Fucking bonkers.
I don't mind paying that for it was
a
just
cocktail.
Well, no, but okay, so we went. We do not go to Starbucks very often.
No.
Which is why we probably didn't notice the price increase, but it was the only coffee nearby and I just needed something. And so we stopped in and it was $17 for 2 drinks. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind spending that at a local spot where they're great drinks, where they do something different and unique. And it's a not an everyday thing, but it's a local spot that I'm trying to support and they have a really expensive drink that I want to try.
Yeah.
But when it's Starbucks, you're like,
ugh.
Yeah. And it's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm just done with it. I've been trying to avoid Starbucks for a while, but it was a reminder that it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah. Truly.
Judah Canizares, thank you for that super chat. If it makes you feel better, nerdy, Stormlight fans still debate about Jazz's lesson over 10 years later. It's a very hot topic. It really shouldn't be. It's really not that complicated.
I think it is complicated depending on your lived experience. Because I think that the reason that it is complicated for Yasna is because of something that we don't know happened to her, just based on her reaction to it and Shallan's observations of her, but we'll get to that when we get there.
I think it's complicated for Yasna because she's so privileged that she doesn't understand how people live.
Maybe, yeah.
And she's deeply out of touch. And the only person that can see it as easily justified is Shallan, because she is equally as privileged and out of touch as Yasna.
She doesn't think it's justified.
We're going to talk about how she goes through a whole moral argument system. Every moral argument system she comes up with somehow justifies murder.
She doesn't come up with those. Those are the 3 that she studies.
Sorry, the way in which she interprets those moral philosophies immediately justifies murder in every case.
So fun fact about this discussion. I'm preempting this discussion when we get to it. Nobody is correct and nobody is incorrect, because morality
100% correct.
is 100%
and
subjective.
Morality should be decided by a white man in Canada.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So this is going to be a fun discussion because none of us are wrong and none of us are right. So it's
Yasna's wrong.
In your opinion.
Yasna committed murder.
Yeah. That's the point. That's what I mean. Morality.
Wrong. No, but she is wrong.
Morality is different for each person.
But it isn't.
This is what we talked about yesterday.
No, it's not. You cannot.
We're gonna get there.
Use your superpowers to murder a man fleeing from you, and still be like that. If you want to say the first kill is maybe justified, I can give that to you. Like I think that there is an argument for the first one. Mm-hmm. The fourth one, who is fleeing and you're killing a man from behind, and there is no justification.
And the point I'm trying to make is that some people would feel differently, and there is no hard defined moral right and wrong, because every individual person has their own sense of morality, and no one will ever agree 100% on what is actually like objectively right and objectively wrong. And so nobody can be correct in this situation and nobody can be incorrect.
Okay.
That's morality for you.
But she still killed somebody.
Yep.
I hope that we can all agree that is wrong. Do you not think that that's wrong somehow? Like I
have a full thing written out, so we'll get to it when we get to it. Nicholas Reed, thank you for joining the nerd table. To be fair, in a world where only noble women can write and the philosophy books are likely to have the same bias as Yasna and Shallan.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's all privileged people writing about their privilege. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why the moral arguments of the book are deeply flawed.
Yeah.
Oh, so you agree with that?
Yep.
Then how do you disagree that it's murder?
I don't disagree.
So you're saying that murder's okay?
No, I haven't said my opinion yet. I've deliberately withheld my opinion.
I think this is going to be interesting. Is there any other shit we have to get to before we get started today?
We did an ad read.
We did an ad read. It was fine.
We told people why we are currently in Toronto and not in LA.
Why we are currently in Toronto and... Wait, what?
Why we're currently in Toronto and not in LA.
Yeah?
Okay, I was like, did I fuck that up? I might have.
I think you said why we aren't currently in Toronto and we aren't in LA, which got very confusing in my brain.
That doesn't matter. And I think that's, like, kind of it. Don't think there's any more, like, housekeeping stuff. There's no book club next week because of Anime Expo, okay?
Yeah, we will be at Anime Expo, so there is no book club next week.
Okay. Judah, think about that super chat. Keep in mind, ethics and morality are different. What does that mean?
I essentially, like, ethics are, like, your personal ethics, right? And morality is more of a, like, larger scale system of morality, is my understanding of it. I could be wrong about that.
Rules of conduct in a culture system. Oh, okay. So ethics are, like, what the religion says is right and wrong, or what the law says is right and wrong.
Morality is what is, like, universally right and wrong.
Well, no, not universal. It's an individual's own compass of right and wrong. So it's your personal beliefs
versus... Oh, then I had it backwards. Okay.
Versus the systematic beliefs, I guess is the right way to put that.
And in both of those cases, Yasna's actions are bad.
Well, I don't know. Lee, I don't know what the laws in this fucking city are.
Doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't.
No, but then ethically, if she's allowed to do what she did under the law, then there's no, like...
Okay.
I'm saying we don't know what their laws are.
Laws are oppression from a ruling class placed upon lower classes. Yasna as a direct arbiter, avatar, if you will, of the ruling class of this society by enacting laws with no supervision, no oversight, and simply because she decides to, is wrong.
Okay,
Police brutality is a bad thing.
But you're talking about morality and not ethics.
I don't
just defined
care
the two.
what the laws in Kharbranth are.
Okay.
What she does is wrong.
Okay, I'm
Like
just
that-
saying that ethically we don't know if it's wrong because I don't know what the laws in this place are. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. And I'm saying that this is a terrible lesson for her to teach. I was about to say Serini. Shalyn.
Sorry. Guys, it is a crossover episode.
All right, let's get into the fucking
The
book.
Nerdy Wordy
We're going to have this
Philosophy
conversation
Club.
for an hour in an hour. So get ready.
Yeah, we're going to get there when we get there.
Get ready for me to
notes.
be somehow wrong for saying that rich people should not flaunt their wealth and then murder poor people because they flaunted their wealth. We start with Shalyn. And Shalyn is talking on Spanreed. These things are fucking everywhere, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm curious how far they can go. Because, like, so far we've only seen them get to Jacques, but the idea of it being able to go all the way to Shin, like, are Spanreeds global? Is interesting.
I wonder if they would even have a distance on them. Like, I think that the distance, my theory is that these would work anywhere on the planet where this shard is where this magic system is its magic system.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me that Brandon Sanderson keeps writing fantasy cell phones. You know what I mean? Like, we get the Aeons in no, what were those fucking things called? The little robots in Elantris?
The Scions.
Scions.
Yeah.
Aeons, Scions, Dions, whatever. You know what I mean.
Peons.
The Scions, the Peons. Hey. The Scions, and now we have Spanreeds.
Yeah.
And he, like, really... I don't think that Brandon Sanderson enjoys writing...
Letters.
Well, no, I don't think he enjoys... Okay, Brandon Sanderson is an author who both writes very slow books where not a lot happens externally, and does not like writing travel time or like miscommunications because of distance. Right? We get a little bit of it in Mistborn, but a lot of fantasy struggles with these two characters are too far apart to know what's going on with the other one.
Oh, yeah.
And Brandon Sanderson doesn't enjoy that, and so he keeps writing in ways for that not to be a problem in his books that are interesting, right? That are within the magic system, and I do enjoy them. I have no problem with the Spanreeds. It is just funny that, you know, a lot of authors are like, God, it's so hard to write because cell phones, like, ruin everything. And Brandon Sanderson is like, I need magic cell phones
Nah, I
in
got this.
fucking every version of my fantasy worlds.
Yeah, because we're not fucking around with the, like, well, we didn't know that.
It took 6 weeks, and now the whole story has to slow down because that letter takes 6 weeks to get there.
Yeah. Arzu, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships.
Arzu, thank you for gifting membos to the chat.
Appreciate you funding our flights to LA.
James Ross says Sando saw how you responded to letters, so he wrote in instant communication.
Yes, he saw our book club, went back in time, and rewrote his book. So we appreciate that, Brandon Sanderson. Thank you.
So she's talking with her brothers through her sister-in-law, and they find out that Luesh has died. And they're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad because nobody knows how to use the fucking soulcaster thingy. Yeah. And so basically they're fucked. Unless they can find someone else who knows how to use it.
It also seems like there's some kind of like cult or something behind what was going on with her dad. There's a pendant and like the symbol on the pendant is also like on Luesh's thumb. And so there's some sort of
evil cult behind the scenes.
There's some, or like mob or something. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's definitely bad. Yeah, they are looking to get that soulcaster back. Clearly they don't know that it's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's broken, I'm starting to think more that it isn't actually broken. Because of the whole because Jasna hasn't said anything yet, there's a part of me that thinks that maybe it's fine. And it's just a matter of like knowing how to use it.
Maybe, but like It literally, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. So then later on, we get a conversation about the word arrogant that I should have Googled because I didn't even look it up. I don't know if I believe that this is a word or if Brandon Sanderson made this up.
Oh, I assumed it was a made-up word.
Okay. I should have Googled it because I remember thinking of it at the time, and then I moved on because the next chapter is a Kaladin chapter, and I got really excited to be back with Kaladin after. It's not a real word. Okay, it's just made up.
Yeah, no, this is just a Stormlight.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat. Maybe it just needed to be turned off and on again.
You know what? If only.
Yeah, because I remember this whole chapter. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still not sold on Shallan as a character. And I think that part of the reason why is this section to me felt, all of the Shallan chapters we read this section felt like Shallan was going to introductory college courses on a few topics. And they're mildly interesting. Like, they're not bad. They're not particularly deep, in my opinion. Particularly, we get into this conversation with Taravangian about atheism that is sort of your, like, beginner's guide to what atheists think in a way that didn't feel particularly interesting to me because of the fact that I don't know what Jasna doesn't believe. And so I think that I think that if they had framed the conversation about atheism in this chapter more about,
like, giving us more information on the
differences, you could almost pull this conversation word for word and have it be about not believing in Christianity.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it just felt a little too simplistic to me, and it didn't really help with the world building. Whereas I wish, like, the atheism here had been brought up more in a way to let us know more about the Alethi faith that it's being pushed back on.
Yeah. God, my hair is wild today.
As someone who, you know, went to school and studied, I took several religious classes in college and stuff. Like, this was just sort of that, like, beginner.
You've seen it before.
Yeah, it felt a little too our world atheism in a way.
Yeah.
It almost felt like Brandon Sanderson trying to, like, work through his feelings about atheism.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's supposed to be complicated because they literally, like Shallan says, like, none of these, like argument, like, a Taravangian didn't actually, like, make any arguments or anything like that. He just was kind of, like, argued the very, like, basics of, like, religion as a whole. And Shallan was like, well, that wasn't much of an argument. And then they leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a 45-minute chapter where I was just kind of sitting there being like, I kept waiting for it to turn into something a little bit more interesting, and it kind of ends on, well, that wasn't a very interesting argument. Like, the characters in the book are like, that was kind of fine. And they're like, yeah, it's kind of fine. And then they move on. And I was like, okay, cool, sure.
Well, I think it's because
fine.
The interesting part of that chapter is that Shallan is just drawing demon people accidentally.
Oh, no, I was about to get to that part.
Yeah.
I wanted to get the atheism out of the way because what is she drawing?
Okay, so at first I wasn't sure, but then with the latest chapter, I feel like she is drawing prophecies. Because she drew that that rich person who was, like, dead on the floor at a table. And it's a thing that she's never seen before. And so I feel like it has to be, I know it's not your favorite thing in the world, prophecies, but it feels prophetic in a sense. Unless it's not prophecies, unless she is drawing things that are currently happening. Which would also be interesting. Like a moment in time that is literally happening. Because she has this photographic memory, right? She literally, like, takes snapshots and then draws them.
Yes.
I mean, that's what it is. That's a real thing that people can do.
Can people do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There are people, not many, but there are people who can, like, look at a page, take a picture of it, and, like, basically read it in their heads.
Oh, I know they can read it. It's the, like, drawing it that's crazy to me. But
well, I think you would have to have the skill for drawing and this particular, like...
I can't draw a straight line. And so to me, like, the idea that you could draw instantly a large idea from memory it's just beyond my ability to comprehend.
No,
that's a me thing.
Yeah.
That's not an other people thing.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like a photographic memory, but I wonder if that's because she has some kind of like prophetic ability.
See, I thought that this was related to the epigraphs from part 1 and that she was drawing people's deaths. And that because she does believe in the faith, that it was like it was going to be somehow related to like the epigraphs that were people's death words, because it seems like the death words of people are important for some reason, and so she's drawing these like death moments, or in the case of Taravangian here, not Taravangian, Taravangian, not the death moments, but like these monsters over his shoulder that might be the thing that kill him. I thought it was tied to that, but it being prophecy is interesting.
Yeah,
I guess Taravangian doesn't die right away, so it would have to be prophetic in some way if it is his death, but...
Yeah, unless it's not death, but like... I don't know. At first I thought that maybe those were like the Voidbringers. Because right now we have a couple different like ideas of what the Voidbringers might be.
Well, and the Voidbringer part of it gets into that interesting thing where, like, I understand, and just to bring it back to the atheism for a second, I understand Brandon Sanderson trying to include an atheistic character in this book, but it is a little bit hollow just because we know that there are gods in all of these worlds.
What?
Well, like, in the Cosmere, right? Like, there are technically, like, god-like things across the Cosmere. They're not really worth worshipping, right? But it is
then are
really...
they gods?
Well, I mean,
or are they just incredibly powerful? Like, what is a god then?
Well, I mean,
is a god a deity that like creates? Because then, yes, like I guess like Sazed has the power to create, but I don't know about the other shards.
Yeah, no, it's just yeah. I agree with that. It is complicated. It is just interesting that like Yasna lives in a world where she doesn't have faith, but storms give magic powers to gemstones. And like to me, I'm like that. Like in our world, there isn't magic. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm very aware of that fact. But like, if a man from another country had superpowers, showed up to my house and killed my dad, I would maybe be like, I don't know, maybe gods are real.
Yeah. I mean, in a world where like magic exists, like just in every day, right? Their light is literally magic. When it exists so casually, I can see it being like removed from the divine.
Yeah.
I don't think that it necessarily has to be tied to the divine. And maybe Yasna believes that there might be some kind of deity, but doesn't believe in religion. Like, because she argues, because in that chapter, she kind of just, her argument is mostly based on that, that she follows her own morality.
Not having a religion doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though we're shown later on that, like, maybe it does. I think it is questionable to have her be like, I'm not a bad person because I don't have religion, but I will murder people.
Well, and
in the same, like, within, like, 100 pages. And I was just kind of like, it's really interesting that the only real, like...
This book is pro-religion.
Oh,
for sure.
1,000%.
Yeah,
all of the Cosmere is.
Less so. It's been less obvious to me in other books, but this one for sure.
Oh no. Well, I mean, I guess like Warbreaker didn't really have. Well, no, but even Warbreaker's about.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that super chat.
Johnny Coleman, thank you for that. Computers aren't magic. They just are science.
They just beep boop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can replicate them. We know why they work. It is interesting to me that she's like, I don't need religion to have a moral framework, and then 3 chapters later, we watch her burn a man with magic as he flees from her in an alley.
Well, and I think that is right now, like, the hardest evidence that I have for that. But when I was writing about the morality chapter, and I think that,
Guys, magic is not science we don't understand. That is like Thor 1 level dialogue, and I get it. It's a great line. That is not a fact.
It's a banger line.
Magic is magic. What Shalyn does is just magic. There's no... You cannot be like, no, but we just don't understand how she touches a gemstone to stone and it turns into smoke.
Wait, no. I'm gonna back up a little bit here, because you just said that computers are magic because we can replicate it.
No, I said computers aren't magic.
Because we can replicate it. So that means that if you can replicate turning people into smoke, it wouldn't be magic anymore.
Sure, if you can explain how that happens, but it's probably magic.
So then what is magic? Is it something that we don't understand magic
is when we defy the laws of physics to do stuff that should not work. Superman, magic. It doesn't work. There's no reason he can fly. There's just no justifiable reason he can fly.
Okay.
The swords, the shard blades, taking 10 heartbeats to appear in your hand, and then they poof out of smoke from another dimension, and then they disappear when you let go of them, but not if you don't want them to disappear, is fucking magic.
Right.
That's not science.
Yeah.
It's divine, holy bullshit.
Yeah.
It's really cool divine, holy bullshit, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Shalyn, or Yasna, being able to touch something because she has gemstones on her hand, and then make it turn into anything she wants, including food, and it will have nutritional properties to it, and you don't die from eating it because it is no longer stone, is magic.
Yeah.
That's not science.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, and it's cool, and I like it a lot. I would be horrified if it was real. The fun thing about magic is that it isn't real, because as soon as magic becomes real, everything becomes a fucking nightmare.
Well, yeah, because it might be real for them in their world, but like we have to have a standard somewhere, and so we say if it can't work in our world, it's basically magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thank God. Thank God. Can you imagine how bad magic would be in the real world? Can you imagine the ways people would abuse magic?
Just watch The Boys.
Like, I cannot imagine a world where magic exists and anyone is actually happy about it except for the most powerful magicians.
Yeah.
And even they would be the most paranoid fucks on the planet. Like, it would make everybody fucking miserable. Granted, capitalism already does that. So, like, we're, like, halfway there. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Harfi says, is science fiction magic? Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. Like, there's elements of magic in science fiction, right?
Yeah.
The Force is magic.
One of the cool things about The Expanse is that there is a very hard line between, like, the shit that like, works, that we know, like, works or theoretically, like, works because of what we know in our world's, like, science. Yeah. And then there's, like, this proto-molecule, which is, like, the unknown.
Which is magic.
Yeah. No spoilers for that if you haven't watched The Expanse. But do it. It's really good. But I think that is one of the coolest parts of The Expanse, is that it is so grounded in, like, our reality. Very cool. Anyways.
Okay, within their world, they might be able to view it as a science.
Sure.
That doesn't mean it isn't magic.
Yeah, it's magic to us.
Yes.
Do you believe in magic? Ronnie, thank you. Welcome to the nerd table for 17 months. Just it is magic to the characters. It is the physics of their world, and therefore does not require the intervention of a god. The intervention?
Ruby Minecraft, I want to be really clear. Artificial gravity is magic.
The intervention.
The majority of artificial gravity is magic. The intervention of a god.
Yeah, what does that...
he's saying that the magic in the world can exist without a god, so that it just sort of happens. But it can't, right? Because the magic comes from the shards, and the shards are essentially the gods of this universe. So
yeah, so it depends on if you consider
literally comes from a god.
Shards, shard
and
people?
maybe this is because we read Mistborn first. Right?
Oh, maybe.
And maybe the shards aren't gods in other worlds the way they are in Mistborn.
Right.
But magic literally comes from God in Mistborn.
Uh-huh.
Like that, just functionally, that's how the world works.
Yeah.
And through magic, the gods are able to influence the people using it, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we learn about that series, right? Mm-hmm. And so the magic in the Cosmere, in the first thing we read in the Cosmere, is so directly tied to God that it feels weird to not tie it to God now. But it might not be.
Right, okay.
It just feels like it is because we've read Mistborn.
Yeah.
And so that's where things get a little bit hinky with the Cosmere.
Yeah.
Because if this is one continuous universe,
uh-huh,
where the rules are somewhat transplantable from world to world,
yeah,
then it gets a little bit complicated to call it not God when you've established early on that it is God.
Well, yeah, we have established in our, like, order of reading.
Well, no, but we didn't establish that. The book does. The book tells us that it is, right?
I mean, that's the information we have.
Yeah.
Ernest, well, thank you for that super duper chat. Sanderson and magic systems are more like science because of his rules, and the more you learn, the more it becomes scientific magic. And for sure, like I said, like, on this planet, their rules of physics or, like, whatever it is, like, this might not be magic to them, but to us, it is magic. It is magical.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I think, yeah. I'm gonna call it magic. It's fucking magic, and I like reading books with magic in it, and so I'm gonna keep saying magic, because I like it. It brings me joy.
Ruby Manchef says, I should have said that there are types of artificial gravity. I agree with that, but, like, Star Trek artificial gravity is nonsense.
Right.
Like, Star Trek's version of, like,
magic.
The ship has a down is insane.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The fact that all of Star Wars in space has a down
is space fantasy.
Wild to me.
Star Wars is space fantasy.
They constantly blockade planets by having one ship in one location. And it's like, that's not how fucking planets work. They're giant spheres. Like, you could maybe blockade a planet that way if Flat Earth was real, but it isn't, despite recent jokes I've made on the channel.
Flat Earth is real.
They're like, but, like, they're always like, God, how are we gonna fucking land on this planet? The Trade Federation is directly in front of us. And I'm like, it's a planet. What are we talking about? Why are all ships in Star Wars oriented the same way? It's so crazy. And then people have the gall to be like, well, Star Wars doesn't make sense in space anymore. And I'm like, when did it?
Yeah, literally.
Name one time.
Guys, if
now it matters because a woman wrote it, but when a man wrote nonsense, it was fine.
If someone can find an instance where Star Wars space actually works, please share it with the class.
Oh my God, drives me crazy. Anyway.
It's magic. And I love that.
How did we get here?
Okay, so we got to magic because we started talking about the, like, weird
this is insane.
things that Shallan drew.
Oh, vampires.
Yeah?
Ish?
Kind of. That's
but, like,
the vibe
not, like,
I got.
sexy vampires, like Nosferatu-y, monstrous kind of vampires. I dug it.
Yeah.
It was a great moment.
Yeah.
Maybe...
No, wait, we know what Death's friend looked like. Never mind.
I would love for it to, like, start going somewhere. I'm not gonna lie. Can I give one... Can I, like, spoil what my low of this book is gonna be? Of this section is gonna be?
I guess.
Early in the reading. The plot can get going. This was the first time where I kind of was, like, in the middle of the reading going, I'm still very interested and I'm still really enjoying it. But I kind of looked at the page count and went, what are we doing? This was the first week where I was kind of like, what are we doing? I do feel a little bit, because I remember that one TikTok that I talked to you about before we started reading the book, where someone was like, I can't remember how far in they were, and nothing has happened. And I get it. I am more interested in it than I think that person was. And so I don't have the exact same complaint. But I do understand if you're reading the book and you're at this point and you're like, where is this going? Because it doesn't even feel like plot lines are starting to head in a similar direction. You know what I mean?
I disagree, but okay.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You think Kaladin, Shallan, and Dalinar's plot lines have started to head in this
yeah, Dalinar was like, we fucking need you to get here, Yasna. And Yasna's like, I gotta find this thingy first, and then I definitely will be there. And now that Kaladin has survived a high storm... there's a definite possibility that the other High Princes are going to find out about that.
See, that's interesting because
Spoilers for ahead.
That's actually really interesting because I feel like all of the plot lines right now have gotten to a point where they felt like they maybe started heading in the same direction and then came up with reasons to not. Dalinar was like, I quit. Kaladin was like, oh, me being High Storm Blessed doesn't actually change my situation, and I'm actually realizing that I can go back to being depressed because there's no reason to continue.
No, he's saying I won't allow that to happen again.
He's going to try, but the actual situation around him hasn't changed, right?
Yeah.
And for Shallan, Yasna was like, I'll get there when I can, but I have no idea when that's going to be. And nothing about this section made me think that she got any closer to what she wanted to move forward.
I mean, that's fair, but I definitely can see where it's going. Kieran, thank you so much for 10 memberships.
Thank you so much. That's very
so
sweet
many
of you.
people can go watch our reactions now.
James Ross says, I just watched an old Doctor Who episode where they're falling into the sun. That's not how relative speed or orbital mechanics work.
Where they're falling into the sun. Is that the...
Wait, what do you mean that's not how orbital mechanics
Is that the
work?
devil episode? Right? That's the devil episode.
Why wouldn't you be able to fall into the sun if its gravity would drag you in? Or are you saying because they were flying straight at it and you would fall into it kind of at a, like, angle?
Fuck, that I don't know.
I don't know. I really would hesitate to consider the science of any Doctor Who episode. I want to throw this out there.
Doctor Who is also magic.
I love Doctor Who.
What happened?
What did you do?
Nothing.
What did you do? What did you click?
I didn't click anything. Did you hear a click? Our keyboard is noisy now.
Fuck.
What is wrong with the fucking camera? Oh, no, I think it's OBS.
Stream Elements is frozen. Fuck.
Okay. It closed. Try again. Oh. Fuck. Deactivate. God damn it. It's podcast.
I fucking can't. Like, this is so annoying.
I don't know what the problem is.
I don't either.
Maybe if we unplug it and plug it back in, it will work. Oh, it's off now. Okay, well that's... I don't know why OBS is losing its mind.
I don't either. Maybe the cam link is just in the wrong...
It's because we're supposed to be in LA. I'm so confused. We're like deliberately trying to not replace our camera because it's expensive, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, now it has no properties. Oh, it's frozen again.
Great. I think we have to restart the computer.
I thought we did that.
Guys, we're going to come back with a part 2 in a second here. I'm so sorry about this.
I don't know if that's going to work. It seems like the problem is OBS.
Yes, we have. I think we need to restart the computer.
Okay.
We'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, babe, we got to restart. The
All right.
OBS is not working.
Sorry.
We'll be back for part 2.